Ladies and gentlemen, the show will commence in 5 minutes. While you are waiting, please hit the like button and share the video link.
Please like and leave a comment, and share this video.
Only 3 minutes until the start. Only 2 minutes until the start.
Please like and subscribe to this channel today. And don't forget to share it and hit that thumbs up. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the awesomeness is about to start in 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin. Grab a drink and a snack, sit down and enjoy watching the show. Don't forget to comment, like the video, and share it to others.
Tonight's episode of From the Other Side is proudly sponsored by Crikey Radio. If you've ever dreamed of running your own radio station without the constraints of censorship, where your voice and music can be freely shared, then Crikey Radio is your ideal platform. Imagine the freedom to use any studio or DJ software to broadcast your content. Picture effortlessly taking calls with any messaging program. With Crikey Radio, these aren't just possibilities, they're your everyday reality. This service offers unlimited
carbon form.
Yeah, in Africa, they're just products all over, Russian products.
I think it's even like now you can see that most of the African countries have the Russian flags all over, flags of Niger, Mali. They keep on like rallying and then supporting them and then trying to like let's kick them out. They're not our friends. The Russians are our friends. All that. I think people see he's like a king now in Africa.
And then this grain deal. What was it? 7 countries he's delivered grain to, and it's
I think Mali is part of them, if I can fully recall. Burkina Faso. I think Zimbabwe is part of it. Niger, I'm not really sure, but I know of most of these few popular countries, especially Burkina Faso of Ibrahim Traoré. That was among the first thing that they signed, and then Ibrahim Traoré too is really going big, with him.
And the deputy defense minister was in Niger as well, talking to their military.
I didn't even know.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Nice. I think that right now they are almost mostly in most of the West African countries and South African countries right now. He's a big king right now.
It's one of the major parts of all this, what's going on with Africa and Russia, is now he forgave, and I don't know which countries, if it was more than this 7. I think the 7 got the grain, at least the first shipment, and maybe there's going to be more. But he forgave $23 billion of debt to countries in Africa. $23 billion.
I think the thing is, in African countries, we mostly, relate our history to Russia, because from the Nazis to where they came from to how they, became strong on their own, and Africans too are putting that back on. We were in some years ago, been misled, and we have almost the same kind of history, if you can check, and so bringing him to most of African countries, through my opinion, actually, is more like he don't need nothing from us, because he already have the oil, he got the gold, he got all this other mineral, in Russia, and possibly, he's our friend, he's our aid. So all we need to do is just to partner, because he said he's not there to help, he's here to aid, he's there to partner, formalize business, you understand? And Africans now, we daily business.
Well, if you look in the past, Soviet Union always helped the African countries, right?
A lot,
always came in, always built stuff, always helped them, never took anything like other countries.
Never.
That's why they've always had a good reputation.
Exactly, and that reputation is getting bigger, and people are now, get used to that now, So I think this is the reason why, you can see that there is a big good collaboration with the Russians. I mentioned the last time, I said Africans are now going to Russia and Belarus, because of the peace that they're having among themselves.
Well, you had something you showed me that Africans are learning more and more Russian now.
Yeah, that's part of it as well. Of course,
he knows, So he's in school, actually, so...
Usually, you see, it was mostly just Chinese, but I'm starting to think, there's just as many from Africa now in the school.
Have you been to Chinese? Grodno region?
Where?
Grodno.
Oh, the town Grodno.
Lots of them.
Yeah?
Lots of them.
I was there about a year ago.
Okay. A lot of Africans are there. A lot of them. From Mali, from Niger, from Gambia, from Senegal, you can name them. Almost most of the West African countries are in here. And I was surprised to see somebody from Angola.
Angola?
Yeah, in the school. The last time I was speaking to you at the veranda.
You're the only one I've met from Gambia.
I think we have some few, within the Benteo, but we have other people around, and on some other universities though. But this guy was coming from Angola. I was like, "You here from Angola?" He was like, "Yes." I was really surprised, it's hardly everything in Angola,
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people are coming actually, and Russia too. Yeah, when I was born in here, I bought with the same people, going to Russia. A lot of people, a lot of Africans.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of Africans in Russia. You
Sure.
see it, and I'm watching, and they're speaking Russian, really good. And I said, damn, I hope I can get like that at least.
Yeah, one of my friends is speaking good Russian.
Yeah, some of them have YouTube channels. There's
Yeah.
some lady, and she's married to a Russian guy, and they take their kid to school, and it was the first day of school.
Yeah.
And, she's was scared. It was just funny. I just saw that the other day. So,
They here. Even the guy who drove me here, he speak Russian. He drive me around now, but yeah, he's good. He's good.
Steve,
Yeah.
got anything you want to talk about?
I'm just letting these guys go this time.
Okay, back to Jake.
yeah.
I'm completely fine letting them go. I mean, I do my share of talking on here when I'm here. They seem to be on an interesting topic, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the another topic, the one.
Didn't want to.
I know. I realize. And I have people watching me, too. They're probably like, oh, he's joking.
He's zoning out over there. No.
You go down your list.
Yeah, and also you guys are probably noticing, we were talking about Israel a little bit but they're pushing these Palestinians, even though they said, oh, go to South Gaza, and then they even showed you the borders, and oh, you're safe if you go below here, even though they were bombing a little bit at the beginning, nevertheless. But now they're in full bombing mode of the South.
But the thing is,
So they're bombing them in the south, and they're flooding the tunnels and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like there's
Wrecking
no place for them to go.
fresh water. Yeah.
I think even Tucker Carlson was saying there's no place for these people to go. You can't go east, west,
No.
like
unless they go into the sea, or they get on each other's shoulders and jump across the border into Egypt. Which
Reports had it like 60% of the Israeli armies pulled back because they're having heavy casualties. That's why they're bombing heavily. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of conflicting stuff coming out of there. Like that they're doing this or they're doing that, but at the same time, they've been fought to a standstill and they can't really progress that much more because they're getting like shot up themselves.
You see videos from Hamas like popping up near there where they're sleeping in tents.
It's like you're fighting a war where you just seen bomb coming directly to you. Like there's no fallback. They're just expecting the bombs to come in and bomb them, and you're still asking them to leave. Where are they going to go? South Gaza? Where is South Gaza right now?
Well,
because everything is going down. Like, the buildings are crumbling down. People, casualties are going. I think in Gaza, we have a lot of women and young people.
Oh yeah, babies. But they're trying to. They want to push them into the Sinai and into Egypt.
Egypt doesn't want it. Jordan doesn't want it. Nobody really wants it.
Well, just say they open up the borders, then it's like if they do open them and let them come in, then it's like, okay, now we have a place to send all these people. Now all of you are going to have to go, and they'll even send the people from the West Bank.
I don't even think that it's like necessarily the Egyptians like anything personal against the Palestinians.
No.
I mean, in some ways it might be, but I think it's more so it's like if they do that, it just says that Israel can just do whatever they want and just push people out anywhere and say, okay, you take them. And it's like these people were there and you did take their property. And it's like, why couldn't you just work out a way to have a system where they could just, at least keep, work something out.
They're not even looking
legitimate sort of
take some part of Israel where the Israelis took away from them. They just want their peaceful Gaza.
Yeah.
They just want their peaceful Gaza, the Palestine. That's the only place that they want. That's where they live,
No, they got other land too that they definitely want some of that back.
Yeah,
because
just look at it this way. They were okay in Gaza, right? And now, because of this bombing, because of all this killing, because I will use the word that Trump always use, killing. Yes, it's honest.
Genocide.
Yeah, because of the killing, now you are driving them away from where they were based at.
Yeah, but Egypt doesn't want them because their economy's stuffed already. They don't need a couple of million people to come in and just make it even worse.
Yeah, just with no jobs who are radicalized. All they would do is they would just go into Egypt and just start launching attacks on Israel from Egypt, which would then get a lot of heat on Egypt because they're not controlling these people. And it's like, well, you just pushed them into here.
Well, that's the beginning of this. They even did bomb Egypt. Apparently, they said by mistake. I don't know.
They didn't really bomb. They hit like one of their tanks or something that injured a couple people.
Oh no, that was a different one. There were two. They know they did hit. I can't remember what it was. I don't know.
It was the border
Saudi
checkpoint,
got-
wasn't it?
Yeah, that's too much.
It was some town, and it was very strange because it was not anywhere near the direction of. It was on the far end. It was far away from Gaza.
It's
It was
actually
on the
pretty
opposite
sad.
side. So what they did, I mean, Israel. I don't even know. Probably somebody made a mistake or something.
Yeah.
It's just sad that it just shows, though. I mean, that's just another example that the Arabs aren't really doing anything. They don't really care about, I mean, granted, I understand the position of when you're a Saudi prince and you have billions of dollars and stuff, and a lot of your people also get. I think like every Saudi citizen gets like $100,000 a year just to be a citizen.
You see, about that, I think in Palestine, in Gaza, there is a mosque called the Mosque of Aqsa, and this is a holy place for Muslims.
Oh, Al-Aqsa, yeah.
Okay, Al-Aqsa, exactly. Most of the, let me say, the Muslim nations are really praying for them, and the thing is, in Islam, because I'm a Muslim actually, in Islam we don't fight, body for body. You understand? You don't have to go and fight because you want to go and kill people, and use it against the Islamic name. Islam mostly, when it comes to war like this, they want peaceful negotiation. Sometimes you can frustrate them, and when you do, they might retaliate back. But the Islam has forbidden that. This was in the instance of jihad war, and down to now. You fight for a purpose. These are people that they want the Palestinians to stop killing. They want them to stop the killing of people directly in Turkey wanting to intervene. I don't know whether they're still there or not. I think is it Syria also, possibly want to help. I'm not really sure about that news or the informations, but
well, there's a couple of countries they were on the verge, but
exactly.
I think the only real reason they're not getting involved is because they're scared of the United States, one, and two, because a lot of their leadership is comfortable, and they also have some ties, especially Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, just to a lesser extent, ties with the West that they want to keep going because it allows them to expand their business interests and such, and it also, they have opportunities to export their own domestic troublemakers off to Western countries when they want to. So they can kind of just say, just go live somewhere else. The West will take you. Anyway, but a lot of it, I think, is just their leadership. The will isn't there because the will is definitely among the people. I mean, if you look at the Jordanians,
definitely.
Jordan has like 80% of their population is ethnic Palestinian. And they've had huge rallies. They've had to, their government has had to like basically shoot them with like, paintballs and beanball bag guns to get the amount of Jordanians that just wanted to storm over the border into Israel, especially in the first like 3 weeks. And then Iraq, same thing. Saudi Arabia, they're a little bit less, but still a lot of them are not happy among their public with this whole thing.
Yeah, well, an attack, I don't know. Yeah. That would be a good idea, unless they all got together. And then, of course, what you would want to do is use it as a deterrent to get somebody to back down. But, like I was saying last time, it's all artificial because it's backed by the United States. And you have some huge power that has overwhelmingly 10 times more power, than most of them combined. And they stand no chance, and of course the United States doesn't care. They're gonna bomb them all the smithereens.
These people have been haunted for many years, for many years. The people of Gaza, and it's like you just come to no man's land. You were bold. You were like, okay, stay here. I want you to stay here. At least you have no home, but this is your home now. But now you come from nowhere. You come from Germany. Is it the United States? Wherever you come from.
Oh, you mean going to Israel? You mean
the Israelis? I mean,
Lithuania.
They come from all these. Exactly. Just came and be like, leave this place is going to be mine. And you've been doing this to the Gaza people.
That was kind of their philosophy, though. That's their religion. Was always to be nomads.
Oh, you mean you're talking about the Jews, right?
The Jews.
Yes, he is too. He's talking about them coming to Israel and just
the way they come to,
7 tribes of Israel and all that sort of thing, and they wanted a homeland. But of course, there was a place in Russia where they could have gone to, and
there still is.
They didn't want to go there.
Most of them have left. The ones that were there.
Because then you talk about the Balfour Declaration and all that. That's why they, and Sykes-Picot Agreement, all that stuff. 1917. That was
well, they decided that it was better that they should have a homeland. Although there are a lot of Jews who don't think they should. They think they should go back to being what they were, which was kind of like nomadic people. But the problem with them is everywhere they go, Okay, all right. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
Everywhere they go, they cause fucking problems. Eventually.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video the last time about one of this Arab country. A Jews was at the airport. This was even shot at the airport, and is it in African countries? I'm not really sure. It's one of this country. This lady is a guy and a wife. The wife and husband. They were all having, Israeli's passport, and they went to the airport to board. And the airline was like, sorry, we don't accept Jews passports to land through this airline.
Ooh.
Yeah, I forget the airline, but I was watching this on YouTube.
They don't accept Jews?
Yeah, he said no.
Wow.
This was because of this war. This was recent, not long ago, And because of this killing, it was one of this country that I was watching, but I will still go back on that video because I would love being these two ladies, a husband and a wife. It was like, no, sorry, we're not accepting Jews on board with this flight. You have to go and look for another flight.
You know what the problem with that is. It's Judaism is a religion. It's not a nationality, for one thing, and a lot of people look at what they're trying to do in Israel. Say the Jewish state. They're trying to make that a religion. I mean, they're trying to make it
a nationality. It is though, kind of.
Exactly.
They think it is. They think it is. They think it is.
Yeah, but it's not.
If they themselves think it is, I mean. It's all right. You can become a Jew. Pretty much anyone. It's extremely difficult to do, though, and they will never consider you probably an actual one of them. At least until you've kind of interbred with other Jews for probably a few generations, which is kind of like the Japanese. They're kind of like that too, where
there's a certain amount of families that are in Judaism that are the real I don't know.
I know
they're the chosen people or something.
They're using it as a name, like Israelis, but. I think
the Jewish state.
Yeah, the Jewish, exactly, the Jewish state, Yeah. So, however it comes to the people, they still say the Jewish. You understand? We all know this is a war that, the Israelis are, just hitting on the Palestinians. But if you check outside the war, like in the United States, in the UK, in other countries, there are a lot of Jewish that don't want this war to exist. A lot of Israelis.
No. Certainly not. That's what a lot of people say. The Jews. That's what we were talking about even last time.
One time, this was what America was like. You know what? Let's go and then kill them. We're gonna send you the tanks. We're gonna send you money. We're gonna send you that on innocent people.
Yeah. Well, you look at now, even in Eastern Europe, and not even just Eastern Europe, France and all that. Russians, it's like there's something in their blood. They're evil people.
No, this is just
the world. You thought we'd be a lot more sophisticated as time goes by, but it seems like we're devolving or something. It's incredible.
They're just using the same stuff they've always used whenever they have to.
Yeah.
Demonize your enemy.
Yeah.
They did it back in World War II. They used to call
Krauts.
Yeah, well, the Huns, that stuff that they call the Germans.
The Huns.
The Huns. Beware the Hun.
Yeah, and then what was it? In Vietnam, the Gooks, I think they call it.
Yeah, I've met some Vietnam vets who still call them that.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, but it's just a dehumanized people or something, and they called the Russians Ivan. When I don't know if there was anything any name, but I remember Ivan. When Ivan comes to get
you go
the U.S. military in Somalia, they call them skinnies.
For which people? The Asians?
The Somalians.
Oh, the Somalians.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So when I was in the Feds, I worked with a lot of guys who were former U.S. military, and a lot of them been to the sandbox, they call it, either Iraq or Afghanistan. They used to call them the Hajj. All the Muslims, basically, collectively, they just refer to them as the Hajj, which is their holy...
that's the journey to Mecca.
Yeah, journey they're supposed to do.
That's one of the seven pillars of
their mission to Mecca.
Islam.
Yeah, exactly.
Once in your life, you have to go.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do if they can feasibly do it. So that's what all the army guys would call it. They go the Hajj. But it's we got a lot of them running around in the U.S. now, and that's why it's it's strange that a lot of the Jewish establishment pushes a hard left agenda that is very pro mass immigration, when a good portion of the people who are immigrating to the West are not amiable towards the Jewish position in the Middle East. And that includes a lot of Asians and Indians as well. Well, Indians are kind of pro-Israeli for some reason, but a lot of the people aren't, though. A lot of people aren't. So it's and over time, what do you think is going to happen if you keep replacing your biggest ally with people who are either neutral or against you? Well, eventually you're going to lose support.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah,
it
no.
makes no sense logically.
You know, people are not sleeping. You know, right now. You know, people are waking up. The world is waking up. The world is really waking up. You know, technology is really bringing. I think there's one thing that I always say. I think I'll say this again. The COVID has let people be aware. A lot of people actually, because you know, most of us were indoors, and you know, when you are indoors, you are frustrated. You don't work. You work from home, so you have a lot of time to be on social media. You know, because people, we especially myself, I took this as an advantage to be able to know a lot through the internet. It doesn't affect me because I was not believing that, you know, all these, you know, methodologies that they have, all this creation that they create is their own creation. It doesn't affect me, you understand? But you know, at the end of the day, it has circled a lot of people within this last 2 years to focus more on information technology, on internet, on the social media, to tap in proper informations, to dig in about people, to stumble on right things and wrong things.
Some people get indoctrinated and woke from the internet.
Yeah, honestly.
Some people get a little smarter. And
Smarter, exactly, more smart.
It's what do you call it? Polarizes people. Maybe it's either crazy in this way, or you're, well, what they think the rest of us are crazy in the other way.
Oh yeah,
You know.
oh yeah. A lot of people think I'm nuts.
Yeah. And from a lot of people have now addicted themselves to the internet, you know, and then now you can get the proper information, not the one that they have to give you like a bond copy of whatever is going on, and they'll be like sending. It cannot be, if wherever you have in news now, somebody's just standing behind recording you again. You know, all these presenters, sometimes they are presenting, somebody's behind them, you know, making some records. You know, once you send out, it's outside again.
Yeah.
So this is why people are getting the real, through the blueprint of whatever is happening actually in the world. So you cannot just come and say, "Oh, the Hamas are killing these people." No, it doesn't make sense. We all know what's going on. We all know what happened in the last, 18 years. You know?
Well, like you would probably know, it's not part of Islam to kill innocent people.
No,
it's forbidden.
Islam have forbidden that.
Yeah.
You know. I sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, all this Islamic group." No.
There's a lot of lies. There's a whole lot of lies.
All these have been common. They've been mentioned. A lot of Al Qaeda groups. All these people. These are a group of societies. I don't know where they come from. You understand? We have Islam as a religion. It's one religion, just like we have Christianity. You understand? So you cannot use the whole of the context of it and say, okay, these people are Muslims and then they're here to kill. Islamic in the Quran it has forbidden it.
Yeah.
It has forbidden that you don't have to kill your fellow brother.
Well, they even were saying, I remember back in 9/11 when everybody was talking about Osama bin Laden, and then a lot of Muslims say he's not a Muslim because Muslims don't do those things. So, so it makes you wonder.
If you wonder that Osama bin Laden was taught by the by the American military, so this was like a payback that comes back to them directly. You understand?
That's what they say, blowback. But I don't know all. The thing is, you hear so many different things.
They always use it like he's a Muslim, stuff like that. Look, he might be a Muslim, but he's not using the Islamic as a name to go and bomb other people. You understand? So you don't have to just bring that. The media. That's what they were doing. They were trying to let people know, get bad about. I was watching this. They said the Prime Minister of Poland. I'm not really sure. He was like, I'm not allowing no Muslims to come to Poland. I watched it live on the Facebook. I was like, you're making a big mistake. Honestly, most of the rich dude you see right now in most of them are Muslims. They are from from this Arabic state, and they want to invest in your country. They're like, I'm not allowing no Muslim to come to your country. Well, good, welcome. And I think that's it. The point is, this whole sometimes this whole killing that people are happening everywhere. Trump said if I was the president right now, within 24 hours, is it 48 hours, Russia and Ukraine is gonna stop the war. If I was the president, Hamas and the Israelis will not be in this war. This was what Trump was saying. Actually, he was like, Joe Biden, you're sleeping so much. You see this almost all the time on the news. So there's something going on that people have to wake up about right now.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Well, the thing about people is, give them enough time, eventually they're going to find a reason to hate each other and kill each other. There's no way around that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Just being honest.
people don't really respect each other anymore. It's not.
Well, they've destroyed
they
the
don't-
family structure, so
They're removing all these filters. Like you let somebody take care of their own property. It's not your business. Let them do what they want to do. And I don't know. A lot of it through government. You got a lot of these governments that want to get involved in everybody's business, and now they want to get in everybody's business in their country. Put the computer chips in the brains, and it's the
well, they just want to inform people more because what they're doing, or excuse me, it's not just the government; it's a combination of things. But the government is worried about control.
Corporations and
they are aware of what they have done to their own societies by destroying the family structure, which is they've done something that they know destabilizes their own societies and destroys it slowly.
Mm-hmm.
But they did that to prevent going to have the tribalism and nationalism that we had for the past 2,000 years or so, roughly, because that does cause wars. And to detribalize your society, you have to break apart the base of your civilization, which is the family unit, which is the father, mother, children family unit, with the father leading the home and the mother taking care of the inside of the home and the children. And raising up balanced, respectful boys and girls, children, basically, who become cohesive members of the society. And the way you do that is you basically make the genders the same. Basically, you tell women to do what men have always done historically throughout history, which is work, and they can do it all and everything, be powerful like men, and you just kind of let the men go by their own natural behavior, do whatever they want.
Now
eventually the men are just
women.
Yeah, men just do whatever, and eventually you develop a society where the only reason to be in that society is to chase after money, basically, because you don't have a cohesive community within that society anymore. It's just everybody out for themselves, essentially.
Well, it's all screwed up anyway.
And eventually that destroys the society.
It's sort of like
nobody has any morals.
Building a confused world, building everybody. Tell the man to go do something to a fellow man, and then telling the woman to go and do something to a fellow woman.
To who? I don't understand.
It's more like trying to generalize the whole thing. They are trying to, bring things that was never in our society.
Yeah, of course.
Trying to confuse the whole world. Trying
they call
to
it progressivism, I guess. Being progressive.
Yeah, it's not progressive. It's actually quite regressive. The whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
Actually,
it's just messed up, right? Because regressive, you might think, oh, they did it in the past. Well, they didn't do that in the past.
Yeah.
What they're doing is,
it's just weird. It's just a bunch of crap to screw everybody up.
But they want to keep the society somewhat productive, and they thought they could balance this out by giving everyone education, which in the past, especially even in Europe, a lot of the middle class and especially the lower class didn't get much education. It was very sort of like the top elitist wealthy families sent their kids to university.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have like in the United States, you got like 2 million, 3 million friggin' lawyers. We didn't. You had a very small segment of your population who was lawyers because you just didn't have that for the society.
Yeah.
And is this better though that you have all these people who have all this education when they've lost sight of what the wisdom that comes with understanding what it really means to be human, which isn't just to pursue a professional career.
Yeah. And the worst part sometimes, I always tell we want to go and learn and have all these degrees, masters and stuff like that. And the question is sometimes do you learn on how to develop your own a friend of mine told me that I went to the university and then I have masters, I have a PhD. I said, do you learn how to make money? He was like, no, I got degrees. I said, do you learn how to make money? That's the only question, because in the schools and the universities, they don't teach you all that. But the point is they're trying to bring a lot of telling you to be a doctor, to be a nurse, to be, it's good to be a doctor actually, because we all know we all need health. But how many lawyers do we have outside there? Like, it's like everybody you see, hey, how are you? I'm okay. Who are you? I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. Who's going to defend who? Yeah. Then you're having that kind of misconception of, large amount of, in their own way, they put it in a system where they let you know that you have to learn so much more to have all these degrees in your head, but at the end of the day, what are they looking from you to give back to the society? You understand? And let's say in a formality now that let's say for example in Belarus here, people always learn to, I see a lot of youngsters, they're joining the military. A lot of them preparing themselves for the future.
They have to.
Yeah, they have to, I think.
They have to do 2 years of service.
You have to, like, two or 3 years, right? 2 years. It's like every youngster is really going, both males and female, they are going to prepare themselves for whatever is coming ahead of them. Then from there, you can choose whatever you want to do here. Let's go to the state. Like, a lot of people have been to universities, have joined, they have learned a lot. But the confusion become, how many people do we have in New York? Like, it's one of the most busiest center in the whole world, going in and out. And now the confusion is now they don't have much to give back, in America. Now they want to cause chaos down to the wall. Now they have now pushed the education to you now you get it. You're at the top level. Today you're supposed to go and give one of the most vital informations, about to the people. Now you went down to the media trying to mislead everyone. But the whole truth is you're looking for something. As I said, it's more like when you build an embassy here and tell them, make sure you get them visa. But the whole truth is you are taking away from them, stealing and putting inside the embassy.
Yeah.
You understand? And they call it education. We have to be aware. We have to know exactly what we're doing. That's what is running around right now in the world.
Yeah. Another issue. What do you guys think about the hypersonic missiles? Now the United States is getting very desperate. I presume they're linking up with Australia.
Yeah, they're developing developing a hypersonic with Australians.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? And the last one failed again. The United States. Isn't that incredible? The most advanced, biggest military in the world.
And they also said Russia stole the plan. So how come theirs is working, but Americans isn't working? So come on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was going to get back to that too, because you were talking about how about the Muslim world basically against the United States. You got 1.8 Muslims in the world, 1.8 billion Muslims in the world. The United States, it's powerful, but I think that it isn't. Its power doesn't come from the people necessarily of the United States.
Nope.
No, it comes from the technology. And the fact that it has 8,000 nuclear warheads, but
control the world's finances. I guess that helps very much.
But look at what they did with Russia and how unfazed by it. With the most sanctions that have ever been put on a country, even more than North Korea and Iran, and they are not even really. They're like brushing it off essentially. I mean, I used to get the people over there. I go on to the English-speaking news sites, and I'll argue with them, and they'll be like, "Oh, nobody can eat in Russia. Nobody has a washing machine." Da 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 da. All right, some people don't. Yeah, actually have washing machines. But if you go to the grocery stores here, there's, they're full. Okay,
go to some parts of the U.S. and the southern states. Let's see how poor they are there.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen.
Around Mississippi, Tennessee, around that area.
I've driven through Mississipy. I didn't stop at any grocery stores there.
Well, a lot like Belarus.
I was talking about like inside the houses, washing machines.
Yeah.
About the washing machines. Yeah. Definitely redneck areas and sort of backwards places, especially in Appalachia.
Yeah.
Well, like Belarus. I believe there is what do they say? It's full employment in Russia, right? If you want to work, you got what?
Oh yeah,
you got a job.
You could go work for one of the friggin' shell manufacturers and just go make friggin' artillery shells. Okay, they need them.
Well, yeah, I know people that live in areas where they make a lot of military things, and it's not only is it full employment, it's they want you to do a lot of overtime if you want it. You can work.
They're working around the clock,
16 hours.
Ooh.
Instead of 16 hours. And
I'm not surprised from what I've heard. McGregor and a lot of the YouTubers who are military analysts are talking about that. And
I remember that over a year ago, September back, a long time ago they were talking about it.
Yeah, they've been saying that. And it's probably been like that for the last year and a half. And they're just throwing huge amount of steel and metal at the Ukrainians, unfortunately. I'm not laughing about it. I mean, it's terrible that so many Ukrainians are getting killed over this nonsense, but in my opinion, nonsense. But that's what's going on. And I think it was like something like the Russians were shooting like something like crazy. Like, was it like 20,000 or more shells a day? It was like 5 times as many shells as the Ukrainians were firing at the peak of the Ukrainians' funding from the United States and the EU, supplying them with all these weapons. and the Russians were still firing like 5 times as many artillery shells every day.
And now they've got so many FPV drones that they're doing 2 hits on things instead of 1. They've just got multiple drones as well.
Are they still using the Iranian supplied ones, or are they making their own?
No, I think they're making their own. And
well,
probably both.
They haven't really been getting the Iranians. At the beginning, they had some from Iran, and then they just took the plans and they were making them. And Ukraine kept saying, Iran is giving them, Iran is doing it, and Iran kept saying, no, we're not.
We're not. Yeah.
And they just basically got the plans and they started making them on their own. The Russians.
No, they didn't really deindustrialize themselves on the same level that the United States did. I mean, they were definitely reduced it, but as soon as they wanted to kick it back up, and they just went full like Soviet mode and just started up all the arms factories.
Iran?
No, Russia.
No, they didn't deindustrialize.
They didn't deindustrialize. So I mean, they definitely don't make a lot of like sort of high-tech finished products like as much as the U.S. does, or certainly the Chinese. Mostly the Chinese, really.
Yeah.
But I think that's changing very quickly. I think their mindset, because of what's happened, that they show that they're not going back to the way things were before 2022, and I think even after this thing is settled, I think the United States and the West are still going to try to shut Russia out of everything and not let them, do business.
Oh, of course, they're going to.
It's like another Cold War, essentially.
Maybe act like they're kind of warming up. I think in the background they are warming up in the background, but that's not going to be anything genuine either. That's going to be a trick.
I don't know.
I stumble against this news, like saying the sanctions that the Europeans have imposed on the Russians. It's not working for them.
Oh, of course not. Yeah,
because I stumbled from this. I was like, oh, yeah.
No, it's not working.
When this came in, like heavy sanctions, but at the end of the day, they still need Russia in a lot of things, a lot, in oil, in gas, a lot of things are coming from Russia going to the European Union.
Oh yeah, they're still just different ways. They're going by ship, and then there's minor pipelines. I think the Druzhba North and Druzhba South, definitely, because Hungary is getting it.
U.S. military is using tons of it via Greece.
Druzh, right?
Russian oil.
Oh,
yeah. They need it. Like you came in and then, you remember this one, McDonald's, right? Now it's called McBuy in Belarus, because there was McDonald's over here. All of them left. Nike, Adidas, all of them. They all left. They all closed their stores. But most of the places, if you go to the mall, you find that there's nothing. You just find that their shops are closed. Now I think Zara is back now, right?
They're closed in malls here.
Most of them, they were having some.
H&M was closed down.
Yeah.
Well, I only know really H&M.
I didn't notice Zara being closed.
But there's
maybe Zara is not open again.
It's I think it is open.
Yeah, Zara is open now,
closed, though.
But some of them, like Nike, I've not seen Nike open yet.
Oh, IKEA wants to go back to Russia, but they can't get their stuff there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
IKEA. Huh?
Yeah.
And now the
that Austrian bank that stayed in Russia's made a fortune.
Oh, the Prior.
Yeah, the one that's here as well.
Raiffeisen.
Yeah.
We still have Burger King here.
Yeah, Burger King,
and Domino's.
Exactly. Burger King is still here. It's still working here. Yeah, but McDonald's is not.
McDonald's
it's not McBuy.
I mean, it's not McDonald's anymore.
It's McBuy.
Yeah, Mac.by. It's just the same stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Similar. Yeah.
KFC. Yeah. KFC.
I never liked KFC. I never liked it back in America.
Never.
I used to eat it sometimes. My family back in like the 80s and stuff. My dad take home like a
big bucket. Huh?
Yeah, bucket. Family bucket.
Big bucket.
I knew that too.
And now they got all the small, tiny, tiny boxes that you want to go and buy chicken if you like angry, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad used to get this barrel. He says, "Today I'm cooking," and he said, I'm cooking my special." Get KFC a big bucket.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really terrible. This is really terrible for the Europeans. And when they started, they were like, "Hey, Russia is gonna suffer." Though they stabilized their currency. Though, this currency is like as weak as now.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the strange thing about the currency. But obviously, when you cut off your energy and then you got to pay 4 times as much because energy is needed for everything, and it makes you wonder what kind of a crazy people would think that Russia's going to suffer when they have all the energy.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Just got to have, food. Got to keep your people clothed. Got to keep them warm.
Yeah.
I said that a few episodes ago. Yeah.
They
He said,
got everything.
Yeah, you just got to take care of those basic things. You can survive, and then it just becomes a matter of holding out long enough that that your enemy can't. Essentially.
Well, I think Duke myself this week we're going to go to a store, just a normal store, and show people all the food and all the fruit and veg and everything. Actually, everything's on the shelf. There's nothing that you don't need.
Yeah, I took a video of the Greens Market a few weeks ago. Just send it to the chat because I think some in Michael's chat, I think somebody was running their mouth, insulting everything, like, "Oh, you can't even eat. It's a shithole country," and all this stuff about Belarus. And I'm like, oh, really? I went to this grocery store later. I'm like, does this look empty to you? I'm like, this place is full. I'm like, it's better than like probably about.
Well, we went to a shopping mall last week. It was busy. The shops were full.
Yeah, we have this video on there.
Yeah, we're just walking along thinking, obviously, all these diamond places are open, all these other shops, closed shops, people are buying stuff.
Well, but most of their malls, like the supermarkets, foods are really cheap, if you go down there, like except the tomatoes, actually.
Except tomatoes.
Well, it's winter. In the summer, the prices for all the produce, all the vegetables and fruits goes down a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like, I'm talking like, it'll be like 80% less.
Wow.
Sometimes, if you go to the right markets and things, you see like tomatoes and stuff like that. Are you sure you can sell it for that price? I mean, it's like, I wouldn't even pick it for that. And they pick it, they carry it to the market, and then they're selling it.
I was, in the summer, I was getting like cucumbers and tomato. Well, definitely cucumbers for less than 2 rubles per kilo.
Yeah,
like that. Way less, actually. So
just
in the summer.
Yeah, in the summer.
Oh, that's cheap.
So everybody just divide 3.2, and then that's what it is in US.
Oh,
1 ruble. You divide whatever the ruble is here, and you divide 3.2, and then that's what the US is conversion roughly.
I think it's like.
So you get a bag of vegetables for cents, less than $1. Yeah. It's incredible.
Oh yeah.
On that time of year.
I mean, even the US branded stuff is cheaper too. Like these, like they're cheaper here a little bit. The colas and stuff.
Yeah, they're more cheaper here.
Yeah.
Well, I think those are made like in Russia.
They're not. They're probably made here.
Like Miller beer. Miller beer is not really cheap. And then I bought one, and I'm thinking, the Miller beer, that doesn't taste very good. I mean, how does it even sell here? Compared to Belarusian.
The Budweiser even worse. It's disgusting.
I hadn't even seen it, but there's a Budweiser. Some guy, an American, I met him like a year ago, and
here.
Yeah, and he's actually, believe it or not, from my hometown. And I think he still lives here. He lives here, and he rents properties in the United States. So he just has to go back once a year and get a whole bunch of money or something and come back. I don't know. But anyway, he lives here. And he was talking about, what is it, Budweiser? He said, oh yeah, it tastes good. He said, everything tastes better over here because they're using natural and they don't have the chemicals. And
I love that.
Yeah.
Most of their juice are natural, Like most of the juice I drink here are natural.
All the vegetables and fruits as well.
Like most of the juice I bought here, I don't drink Coke actually, but
I don't.
They really are good, really good. They're good. If you go to the supermarket and they're very cheap, that's one thing sometimes that's mostly get me on. I was like, is it actually 1 point something ruble? That's like 2 rubles for a bottle of juice. That's big, And if you go compared to most of the supermarkets that I've traveled in Europe, it's big. It's more expensive.
Like a liter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you can get beer from anywhere in Europe at the prices over here, I don't know why you would drink American piss beer.
Oh, I tell you what, in the Army we had
most American beer isn't very good unless it's like a microbrewery.
Yeah, we had. Well, I'm from Seattle. That's the home of microbrewery.
Yeah.
They have 400 beers there. But I was in the Army and we had I don't know what it was called, but it's I forgot the name, but it's like you have it once a year. Your company has it, and not a battalion. It was a company. Mm-hmm. And they have beer there, and you have little contests like you climb the greasy pole. They put like axle grease all over some pole, and you're supposed to have like 3 guys try to
climb it.
Yeah, try to get the top. Somebody has to get something out. All kinds of crazy stuff. And the captain bought. Here we are in Germany, and he bought American beer.
It's Oktoberfest.
Yeah, well, it's like.
Was it Oktoberfest?
No, it wasn't. It was activity. I don't know what it was. I was thinking activity day, but it's not like that. It's just some day in the.
That's like a sin because the amount of
American beer. We were sick. Six stomachs because we were used to the German beer.
Yeah. If you're in Germany, it has some of the best beer in the world, and you bring that garbage, it's like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, German like double box from Bavaria and stuff are so amazing that you won't even see them in America. like the really good ones anyway.
Well, they have some weird. They have smoked beer. If you go to Bamberg, it's got a smoked taste. It's terrible. That's why
I'm not saying
you don't see it anywhere else except for Bamberg.
Actually, I don't drink. I didn't drink beer, no alcohol, so I don't know exactly how they taste like. But I see that they have a lot of alcohol here. A lot of alcohol here, and then you check the price. They're good.
Yeah, I don't really drink any hard stuff. I got
part of
wine
European
once
culture.
in a while.
Drink.
Just beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the wines as well. You can get Australian wines here. You can get from Chile, all sorts of places. All nice wines.
There's Belarusian wine, and I had one.
Georgian wine.
Quite good.
Georgian.
Yeah, Georgia.
Nah, I get the French, Spanish, Italian wines pretty much.
You know what is
Good
strange?
places too.
There's some really good Bulgarian wine, and you can't find Bulgarian wine. I don't even know if you can find it anywhere in Europe or anything. And at one time, they wouldn't let it go into the European market because it was cheaper and better, and it would destroy like France and Germany and all of their markets because the wine was of such great quality and such a low price.
That's what they're doing with that with Spanish wine right now. Like there was a big fight between France and Spain recently. It was like a month ago where the Spanish wine producers had to dump out a bunch of wine because the French were doing something to block the export of the Spanish wine into the French market, which was like, I don't know. They already had set aside a certain number of their product to be exported to France. And then they showed a video of it, and they had like this little village where they had like a lot of wine producers, and they had just dumped this wine right onto the side of this hill. And it was like a small stream of red wine just going down the hill. Yeah. It was on RT actually. I think that video.
While you guys are talking,
very
I'm just
wasteful.
while you guys are talking, I'm just going to bring Rolf in. So if you hear his voice, it's he's hanging out with us tonight.
It's not a ghost. Cool. It'll be somebody. Okay. I didn't want to hear, but I hear voices sometimes. I'm
do you? There's Rolf.
And I talk to myself. I said, "What did you say?"
Yeah, I know. When I'm talking, I sometimes hear these voices, but what's going on? Some ghost on the other line.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, well,
Rolf, you're alive.
You're alive, Ralph. You're
Hey
alive.
guys,
You're alive.
Can you hear me?
No, we can't.
You can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Not really.
I'm alive.
bit.
I thought I
There's
was
not much.
dead. I know I lived and died so many times.
We can't hear you.
He said he's lived and died so many times, but yeah, you can't hear you, unfortunately.
No, we can't hear him anyway.
1 minute.
He's
1 minute.
he's having
guys.
audio
I
problems
might just
earlier.
adjust something.
Like we were last time.
Yeah.
I hope everybody out there in
Mix it.
listener
There we
land,
go.
I guess, realizes.
There you
I
go.
hope
I got it.
you're
I got
getting
it.
a lot
Oh
better
my
sound
God.
than what
Sorry, guys.
we were delivering last time. Rolf sounded very good last time, but we sounded a little bit weak. And we ate our Wheaties, we ate our vegetables, and now we're speaking a lot better. So, yeah. So
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear something.
No, we can only just hear you.
Barely.
Really?
I can hear.
Well, anyways, I just want to say
like
you
in the
guys are
distance.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Like you're screaming at me from around the other side of the building.
Yeah.
No, we can't.
I just want to say, you know what I love about this is you guys are having a conversation about a lot of things, And what I love about it, you're not arguing. You're
We're
not
not
saying,
arguing.
you got to do this, you got to do. It's like you guys are just talking, having a conversation, very interesting and enlightening. It's different.
Yeah.
How
Well,
well
thank
do
you.
you guys know each other?
We act like we went to school together. We went to different schools
it's
together.
Like you guys
actually,
are all
of us did.
brothers,
That's one thing we
It's
have
like
in
we're all
common. We all went to
brothers.
different schools together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I went to a different school.
You went to different schools.
No, well, essentially, I don't know how long you guys know each other, but I've only known you guys for less than a month, I suppose. Maybe a month.
Yeah.
I don't know Rolf, but the funny thing is that though he went to the high school that is the direct rival of my old high school, so it's kind of crosstown rivals in that sort of sense. And these are not big high schools either. I mean, his high school is actually smaller than the one I went to, but my graduating class was less than 300 people. So you're talking like
In
less
New
than.
York,
Mine was 600.
everybody thinks New York City. You'd have to have
The big city.
2,000 people in a graduating class or something.
Yeah, but this isn't New York City. This is about 3 hours
Yeah.
north of New York City. So
I was 600.
yeah,
I'm sorry,
but it's still New York
600
State,
class.
and there were some big schools up there, though. I mean, Shenandoah Ho has got a graduating class usually around 3,000, 3,500 kids, so that's a big high school.
Yeah.
But there's definitely small towns all over New York,
Yeah.
just like any place else.
I was thinking
All over the
that
world.
last thing we were just talking about Australia and, teaming up with the U.S. to make hypersonic missiles and hope, they think they're going to make it. I was always wondering, why Australia? That you would think maybe they team up with France or Germany or something like that. I don't know. I don't know that Australia is big into missiles. I was thinking, and this is just, I don't know what you say, Dave, because you're, that's your neck of the woods, but I was thinking it might be because of their geographic location, and maybe do they have as you know how Israel got their nuclear technology, they had a spy agency to get it, and I'm wondering if the United States knows of some kind of an agency, like an intelligence agency, to steal technology from China. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. We've got ASIO. It's like the CIA, and they do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's a big testing ground as well in just north of Adelaide. The British tested their nuclear weapons in Australia.
Oh, that must be fun, huh?
Yeah. Made them come back in the 80s and take the soil back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they just dumped it in the sea on the way back. So.
Yeah. Last time we talked about that.
The whales are so
And
happy.
also in the centre of Australia, there's a huge space spy base. It gets all the communication from the southern hemisphere into there.
Oh, okay.
Pine Gap, it's massive.
Okay.
And on the west coast, you've got the submarine bases and the communication for the Americans there.
Yeah, and they've got what's this big spy facility now in Salt Lake, or at least in Utah, to listen in on everybody in the world, I guess.
Yes.
This would be the big super place.
Yeah, well,
Where did they name that town?
Pine Gap gets everything, and Alice Springs gets everything. And
Bluffdale, Utah. That's what it is.
Bluffdale.
Yeah.
So this is supposed to be able to get transmissions from virtually all the Earth, right, or something? I know.
I don't think they're actually. I mean, that's more of a storage facility.
Yeah, storage
So
of all,
it is-
everything,
well, all the satellites, like in geocentric,
Yeah,
will put it in,
satellites
zap it into Pine Gap, and then they send it to Langley or the DIA.
Wow.
And then, for all intents and purposes, basically everything that goes across the internet is going to transact through the United States at some point. Pretty much every internet back and forth signal is going to be sent through there at some point. Just because the internet was constructed with its center as the United States, because that's where it came from, essentially. The internet was originally started as a military communications thing that was going on in the United States back in the early 80s.
Not by Al Gore? I think he claimed he invented the internet.
Al Gore invented
Yeah, it was mates that had different nodes. So they took out one node and let it go.
They were just using it for very basic communication at the time. I remember reading some stuff about
cooking
it.
now?
That was Ralph.
I heard Ralph
Yeah, we
yelling.
can't hear him.
We can hear him.
Yelling in the background.
It sounds like
I can hear him down, but I don't know exactly what he's saying.
it sounds like there's a guy in the next room and you can hear kind of whispering, like
Yeah.
Am I too loud?
Intelligence. What about that? What happened in Ukraine? That the head of their intelligence, that his wife got poisoned or something like that.
Yeah, by the intelligence agency.
By the intelligence agency.
It's
kind of like the old days in World War I when they used to try to gas the enemy and they didn't check which direction the wind was blowing and they gassed themselves.
Oh,
we all got to be careful. There's some shady stuff going around in this part of the world right now,
yeah.
including on the side
Been
that we're
going on around a
coming,
long
where it's
time.
Prigozhin.
Prigozhin.
My buddy was in Russia when that happened. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I get.
I was surprised though. I was like, well, I mean, honestly, what the hell did the guy expect? Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was all about, but I get that guy mixed up with Podolyak. These funny names.
Can we talk about that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when he had that attempted coup, quote unquote, back in what was that? It was in July. All right, when Prigozhin basically took a large portion of Wagner, and it was, supposedly, I think, he temporarily took that one city down there, at least the center of it.
Talking about Rostov-on-Don?
Yes, exactly. And then they were going up to Moscow. They were on the convoy up to Moscow.
Well, that was no real attempt at a coup d'état.
I didn't consider it one,
No,
but
sorry.
I think that some goofballs in the CIA actually might have thought it might have been serious. I didn't consider it serious because I knew that if it ever came down to it, Putin would just have that whole convoy wiped out or whatever.
Well, it was kind of an insurrection, but it wasn't any kind of
it was like a mutiny.
It wasn't real. I mean, what it was is Prigozhin. He had differences with Shoigu and Gerasimov, you know, and he wanted to stage a demonstration. He wanted to have his people, you know, make a.
He wanted to put them on the spot, basically, so that they would change some things.
Yeah, no, they weren't going after Putin. He likes Putin, so he was just going to do a demonstration and say, you know, hey, look, you know, and we came all the way here, and we're just sick and tired because we're not getting the ammunition we wanted, and we're not getting the recognition, and blah 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 blah, and you know, and of course Putin didn't like that anyway because it shows that
I don't know. That's what he said. That's what he said in the beginning. Like when it first kind of started, he was making statements, but then kind of the later ones were more aggressive and more like even sort of they didn't they didn't specifically exclude Putin. And then also you got to remember they did shoot down a few Russian aircraft and killed like 18 Russian servicemen.
Well, they were attacking them too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know, but there was a conflict. There was some back and forth, and some people died because of that. And you know, to think
it was a lack of discipline on Prigozhin's part, and he was basically kind of flexing his muscles, and it's not really allowed.
That's not how you do it.
That's not what you do in the military. You don't flex your muscles, you know, and threaten your commander or something. For example, you know.
That's not the way you do it in Russia. In Russia, you flex your muscles by playing power games in the political theater. That's how you do it over there. You know, actually, that's the way you do it in the United States too. If you really want to do it, there are other ways to do it.
Can you hear me now?
But I heard
Ralph's talking. He said, "Can you hear me now?"
No, it's still very, very quiet, Ralph.
Oh, I
guess
don't know. I'm having
Verizon
technical difficulties.
Well, the funny thing is he's probably sounding really good on YouTube, but it's not. He's probably actually loud on there, but not on here.
That's what matters. But they're probably like, well, you know, they can hear him good, and they're probably wondering like why we're not responding to him because we can barely hear him. You know?
Just ignore him.
Is it from the mic? Is it from here?
It was working earlier perfectly while we were testing it, and then all of a sudden, just before we went live, something happened.
It's okay. It's another bug that can be worked out.
He went to reboot and do some changes, and then since then that was it.
It's the gods. The gods.
I heard that.
It's a little bit louder.
The gods.
Maybe
it's the gods. It's everywhere.
We can almost hear you, Ro.
What's everywhere?
I don't know. Here, there. We're all here.
Yeah, we're all here.
We're all here.
Everywhere. We're here. This is the greatest thing I think that we're in. We're like in a matrix. We're in a life. It's something.
We're becoming enlightened.
He's so good.
I think so.
Ralph is so good, you know. I mean, how he talks, it's like he's a I don't know what you're entertaining or something like that.
I'm a millennial. Once every millennial, they do this.
What's a millennial?
Like they told me, like Jesus.
You're Jesus.
1,000 years before Jesus, there was somebody else. 1,000 years before that was somebody else. They
119.
The creators, no, they mess people up.
The content creators.
I just happened to say, wait, I don't want no part of it. And they were like, who the fuck's that?
Is he talking to us? I think he's talking to us.
He says like crazy man next door talking.
He sounds like he's on some psychedelics and he's just going rambling.
I got the scruffle and I'm just a redneck from New York.
Mine's white. You can't see mine so much.
But I was trying to say earlier that
closer to the camera, but
being able to sit here
whacked,
and guys
basically
discuss things.
Yeah,
we discuss things.
When it happened, I was like,
playing with grenades or something.
Yeah, on an airplane.
Who knows what was happening there? You know,
I don't know either. Yeah, and to a bunch of his top guys too.
No?
Yeah, normally they fly in two planes, and this time they didn't.
Yeah, all the top people. His who was the guy that was his
him and two others.
Co-investor.
The guy who was actually like running the actual military operations got killed too. Like I guess Prigozhin was more of like sort of a spokesman / figurehead, whereas the guy who was actually like kind of like the director of operations was like his guy on the field telling them the troops what to do. He got killed too, which is pretty. Yeah. So basically, that whole thing just got, I remember Poland, right after it happened, was all freaking out because a lot of the Wagner was coming here. Because Lukashenko had a big part in working out the whole peace deal between Prigozhin and Putin at the time. And he was actually Lukashenko was on the phone a lot that day and got Prigozhin to kind of basically call it all off, and he got promised that he would get like amnesty in Belarus here. So a lot of the Wagner got transferred over here during that month in between the actual coup attempt and then Prigozhin getting killed. So Poland's freaking out that all these Wagner guys are getting transferred over here. They start constructing these camps that are like basically in disused military bases for of the Belarusian military. And then Prigozhin gets killed, and all that stuff gets dismantled, and basically all the Wagner that wanted to get incorporated into the Russian military is now there, I guess. And then Poland's whole like, oh, you're gonna get attacked by Wagner, that all just went away.
I was talking to a news source, a very high news source, the person, and he was saying that Wagner is still here, of course.
I bet there are still some of them here, but I don't know if they're.
But he didn't an
actual entity anymore.
But he's very high, and he knows the news better than we do. Even so,
there might be some secret squirrel stuff going on. I don't know. It's
are they training the Belarusian military? Some of them.
Yeah. That's one thing.
Yeah, that's good too because they have a tremendous amount of field experience now that the Belarusians don't have.
Yeah, and if we want to talk about Lukashenko, and they used him at that time, he was a negotiator, kind of a go-between with. Prigozhin did not want to talk to Putin, and but he would talk to Lukashenko. And if you see what's kind of going on just recently, Lukashenko made that trip to this climate summit in Dubai. And I believe this was put out by, well, maybe that part was not put out by Seymour Horst, but there's other people that are putting out this thing about there's backdoor negotiations going on right now between Russia and Ukraine. And apparently, at least what has been told, is that Lukashenko, one of the reasons he was going there was to deliver the terms, deliver Russia's terms, basically. What it is a surrender of Ukraine, and it's not that they are surrendering, but if they surrendered, what is Putin's terms? And I guess he was delivering that, and whatever. And I guess what was put out, and I don't know if that's true. They said that Ukraine agreed with it, and it makes you wonder who in Ukraine, which party, because there's a big split going on in Ukraine right now, as everybody knows, and it's not Zaluzhny and Zelensky. It seems like it is Zelensky and maybe a small circle and everybody else. Because
the most funniest part is whenever they're asking questions regarding the Ukraine and the Russia war, they keep on directing these questions to you and say, do you think Ukraine is going to win this war? Like, do you think Russia is going to win? Like, they take it as a competition, like a competition where people are having a horse race and who's going to stop first.
Yeah, well, it's basically who's going to come out dominant, and who's going to there's things that Ukraine wants and things that Russia wants. Russia basically, that was just the security thing. They didn't want Ukraine in NATO, and they didn't want somebody always threatening to kill them, which is what they were doing. And Russia says, stop doing that.
As I just said, how would you feel if some? It's more like if you just put
and they were bombing the Donbass, of course.
Yeah, if football field just behind my backyard, how will I feel? I will feel disturbed every morning. It's more like when you just put a music club just behind my building or my backyard. I'll feel disturbed every time I'm sleeping. So I think this is what Russian hardware are trying to avoid, and
well, it's NATO pushing more and more to their to surround Russia, and it's just like what they do with Iran. It's all surrounded with NATO, mostly American bases, and they're trying to surround Russia and contain Russia and neutralize Russia and control Russia. That's what the whole idea of it is.
And back to Lukashenko, he's been busy. He was in China.
Yeah. Right after that, and I tell you that there's this theory that it has to do with. There's some people saying, "Oh, that's bogus. There's no trying to get terms of surrender," and it looks like it is. And even in Ukraine, they're talking about that. Podolyak, they talked. Let's see if I have. Yeah, Podolyak was told to prepare for peace, and even Stoltenberg was saying, "Oh, it looks like things are going to be crap very soon here now." And Podolyak said, "Prepare." They told Podolyak, "Prepare for peace,"
And the senator for perpetual war in America, Lindsey Graham. He's said
changed
he's
180 degrees.
180 degrees.
Yeah, he was like, to the last Ukrainian, the best money we've ever spent. And now he's saying, oh, no, we're not going to send any money into there
We're
anymore.
going to spend it on the border.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just said that yesterday.
Piece of crap.
Yeah, he says, oh, no, we don't want to, I'm not going to sign any money going to Ukraine anymore. We got problems here in the, but Podolyak is saying, he's still up there. That they told him to prepare for peace. And he says, well, we have new conditions now. So I don't know if he's going to still make demands that, I don't know. It's maybe he's still in a fantasy world, or maybe he thinks he can still dictate terms like they were trying to do in the past when they were losing then even.
Yeah, but they're all starting to fight each other. Klitschko in Kiev is now not against with Zelensky. He's against him, and now Zelensky's all of them.
And there was, and I didn't write it down, but there's a lot of people like get him.
And Zelensky just cancelled his U.S. Congress.
An address to the Congress?
Yeah.
And they also...
oh, wow.
Somebody...
That's actually huge.
An intelligence person published online, and this was on Redacted. This was from Clayton Morris, who used to work for Fox News. And he has it. So if you go to Redacted, and it was a... plans, well, not plans, but it was a documentation where Zelensky is now, moving to the United States. He's moving physically to the United States. I don't think they had a location, but somehow I thought I heard Florida.
He's got a mansion in Florida.
Yeah, I'm thinking Florida, but anyway, they're getting ready to move there.
Well, at that point, then it's like they're just like giving up,
Yeah, well, this is the America's off ramp is the money. They can say, "Oh, we can't do it. We've got to do it on the border or whatever." And this is their off ramp of the war now.
Did you mention? No, you didn't. I don't think. You saw the article, right? Where was it Zaluzhny or something? No, it wasn't Zaluzhny. It was one of the other Ukrainian generals or something. Said that to win the war, they need $400 billion.
Oh, that was, I think, Zaluzhny.
It was Zaluzhny.
That was Zaluzhny.
400 billion.
Yeah, and it's true. It's true. I mean, even then, you're not going to really necessarily win against Russia.
No, well, they have no people. Like unless they take that money and spend it all on mercenaries.
I think they're going to light it on fire. They're going to stoke it in gasoline and throw it at the Russians.
Maybe that would be a better use than actually giving it to them. But they do that at the time that they're getting in the process of asking for and getting approved for the $60 billion that they're currently up for right now. So that was going through Congress at the same time that Zelensky is saying they need $400 billion to win the war. And then I heard that, well, I think that Ritter was the one who said that Congress has got to be looking at this like, why should we give you $60 billion when you say you need $400 billion to win the war, but we're not going to give you $400 billion. Like, even if you extend that over the course of the next 3 years. So that's not going to happen. And now, why should we give you the $60 billion if we can't win the war, essentially? Because the $400 billion is definitely not going to happen. What's the point of giving you another $60 billion?
So wait. So
but it's not enough.
They were actually looking for $400 billion.
Yeah.
He said
that to win it. They need
to win the war.
How will they do that?
And he's the top general of Ukraine.
Like I said, maybe they would just buy mercenaries.
Wait.
They are fighting. Well, they tried with a lot of mercenaries, and that didn't work already.
No,
it's just my point. Like, what do you need $400 billion for? Because money cannot win actually this war.
More yachts.
Hey, yeah, there's yachts and houses.
Yeah, you can buy all that.
And not only that, you heard
Ukrainian oligarchs stuff.
Tucker Carlson was interviewing Congressman Thomas Massey, and he came right out and he said it's a huge money laundering scheme. A lot of that money that goes to Ukraine, I don't know if he said it or if I saw somewhere else, but half of it comes back to the United States.
Yeah.
To the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
So, and then when it gets to Ukraine, just think that other half that is, that's only half. A lot of that gets filtered out all over the place. So, and I think I even heard at the beginning of this war, they were saying that only 30% actually gets to the front line.
Yeah.
So it's like 70% of it is all in corruption. And
yeah,
it's incredible. And then not only that, who was it? Rezhnikov. Rezhnikov, he was in charge of this catering thing for the soldiers, and he was giving them substandard food, and he was shaving money off of that as well. So it's just nothing but corruption. In Ukraine, I even knew this many years ago. And I was told, I said, that place is so corrupt. And even the United States was saying that. But magically, when the military operation started, they don't mention it anymore.
Yeah, this is it's just too much to understand because, you know, people are dying and you talking about $400 million and now you want 60 billion. Like, this is really funny. I'm really sorry to say this because the less innocent people are involved. These are people that, you know, you're taking the money on behalf of, and if you can get that money, stop the war. Just get a peaceful negotiation with Russia. Let the people live their life. It's simple as that.
But they shouldn't have started it in the first place.
No, the point is, you see, this war has an easy ending. A very, very easy ending. Negotiate with Russia. Stop the killing. Go along your business. Rebuild your country. That's all you need. You don't need all these fundings, all this military. Why do you need to have, you know, it's too much, man.
Well, one reason why these negotiations are being secret is because Zelensky made it against the law to talk to Russia. So there's a law against negotiating with Russia.
Breach the law if you are to be able to save the people's soul. Yeah. This was the point.
No, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're breaching it.
Just breach it. Look, people, when it comes to the life of human beings, we have to understand one thing, you know, like most of the people who always engage. Look, you are putting, you know, innocent blood in your head. How can you even sleep with that?
Yeah,
because they're psychopaths.
Simple as that. Just some hours ago, not that long ago, I think Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary of the United States, she came out and said, if we don't give this money, meaning the $60 billion to Ukraine, then we will bear the responsibility of Ukraine's defeat in the war. Which is a very weirdo statement.
Defeat. That's a lot. It's like
bear responsibility.
Well, they do bear responsibility for the defeat, but not because of that, but because they actually encouraged the whole thing in the first place.
Yeah, they lost Vietnam. They've lost Afghanistan.
Well, you know, it's like everybody is acknowledging that Ukraine is going to lose. So what is what's the point of throwing good money after bad money? I mean, they're going to lose. Everybody knows that. You know. So what's the point of putting one more penny?
Because some people are making a lot of money while it's on.
Yeah, that's what Massey was saying.
They got to keep that
this huge money laundering.
They got to keep that military-industrial complex around, like you said. It's just there's all this military crap that's been there since the end of World War II. Well, it's exactly what they call it. I'm looking for another word. No, it's there. So they just can't do away with it because they want to keep it there because in case something does happen, you know, but they don't want to just scale it all back. They have to just keep money going into it, and it's a very expensive thing to maintain and everything. So create wars, well, they're not. I don't think this is the main reason, but everything that happens around the world, every geopolitical thing that they do that ends up in a war, this becomes a justification for them to funnel money back into our own military-industrial complex. But the overarching reason for this whole Russia thing is to weaken Russia, break it apart, as you previously mentioned in detail. You know, because for the United States to maintain power over the world, it needs to keep the rest of the world relatively weaker or under its direct or indirect control so that it can maintain its position as the director, the hegemon, of the entire world.
Wow. The masters of the universe.
And the minute the United States economy really starts to go to really bad conditions, like the rest of the world has actually seen a lot of this throughout history, but the United States hasn't seen it in a long, long time. The United States is going to eat itself. I think I said that before myself. It's my opinion. It's just going to come apart.
Yesterday, there's a report that Texas is going to vote next year as
secession.
To leave the United States.
I think they've done that already a few times. I don't know. The U.S. won't. No, the federal government's not going to allow that, of course. Maybe even Florida wanted to do that. I think DeSantis was even talking about that, right?
I don't know. Will Texas fight a war against the entire United States, the rest of it, to be separate, or will the United States willing to fight a war against them? It depends on who wants it more, who's more, against it or whatever. The thing is, at this point, really,
wouldn't it be like the Civil War? Wouldn't it be like it'll start getting other states behind Texas because the other rights are being
but
Texas is big.
Yes, it is.
It's really big.
Yeah, it is. But it's not that much different than the rest of the country in many realistic terms. I mean, blue state, red state, they're not really that much.
I think there's a point where, the United States have to understand something that sometimes, when you impose wars on people, differences, and then try to separate them out, it backfires. and when it backfires very hard, very badly. It hurts very deep. You understand? And when the Texians want to separate themselves from the United States, it's going to be a huge one. It's going to hurt them deep. You understand?
And they got a lot of guns down there too. It used to. It might even still be legal to carry a gun in public.
As I'm saying,
not even concealed. I mean, just.
No, they want it. Well, a pistol anyway, unless they changed it since I've been there, which is 10 years ago. So
in Texas,
yeah, they don't let you carry a pistol. It has to be concealed. 10 years ago. I don't know if they changed it in the past 10 years. Those gun laws are always changing. You can carry a gun in your glove box without a concealed carry permit, though. Just as any person who's over 18.
Lancings, actually. Lancing gun.
A pistol.
Which is lancings.
No, you don't. You don't need a license in Texas to have a gun.
Gosh.
No.
I like
you need
in some of the states you're 16 to get a gun, but you can't drink until you're 20.
Yeah. When you're 18. No, grew up, born and raised in New York. So when I moved down there, it was funny because I had my dad come and visit me, and I took him to a Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's or something, and I was like, get me that Smith & Wesson 500 behind the counter. And I pulled it's the biggest handgun in the world. It fires a 50 caliber round. So I pull it. I was like, flip it open, and twirl it. I spin it, show it to my dad. I'm like, here, this is the biggest handgun in the world to my dad. He's in New York City who's never handled guns. He wouldn't let me go hunting with my grandfather when I was 13, which I always wanted to do and I never ended up doing. I myself didn't learn about guns until I became a cop. So when I first shot my first gun the first time, I was a complete newbie on that firing range, and it was it's nervous the first time you do because you don't know exactly what to expect. But and that was because even though I wanted to learn about guns, I had to. My dad never let us have them in the house. So when I showed him that, it was funny though. But yeah, in Texas, the only license you need, well, obviously, if you're going to get a machine gun or something like that, you need to have an ATF tax stamp, which is a pain in the ass to get, and those are expensive too. Not the tax stamp itself, but the guns that are automatically, if you want to do it legally anyway. To carry a gun on your person, a pistol, you need to have a concealed carry permit. So that is very quick and easy, though. 6-hour class on a Saturday.
Yeah, when I lived in Alaska, we went to a gun show, in the ice rink. Yeah. And you should just see the weapons you could buy. Sniper rifles, all sorts of things. Yeah. I'll show you photos afterwards. It's just ridiculous.
It's the biggest difference with the red states. That and the taxes are your two primary differences between the blue states and the red states. I mean, as far as the government itself, on the local level and stuff, they're all pretty much corrupt. Blue state or red state. But the guns, yeah. And then, like I said, you can get a pistol and stuff it in your glove box and drive around your car with it without a permit or anything like that. As long as you're not carrying it on yourself, though, you can just leave it in the glove box, you're good.
Wow. Also, you gotta consider a lot of people getting killed with knives nowadays. And, and it was just today, a member of parliament, probably the Rada in Ukraine, who was a critic of Zelensky, died. He got stabbed in the head today.
Christ.
So,
God.
Yeah. Can you imagine somebody putting a knife in your head?
I almost think I'd rather get shot.
Yeah, there's that hurt.
His name was Ilya Kiva. So,
and now who was he again to Zelensky? What did they do for him?
Well, he was a critic of Zelensky.
Oh, he was a critic.
Yeah, and
well, there's your free democracy with free speech, right?
Yeah. Can you imagine your representative in the United States getting stabbed in the head or something? Incredible.
Rand Paul got shot, didn't he? Or he got
He got shot once, and I think somebody tackled him the other time.
Yeah.
And, isn't that incredible? Some guy who uses liberty as his.
That's funny that he's a libertarian. He's very leaning. He's kind of like a libertarian is going to be somebody that's going to appeal to some people on the left too, not just people on the right, but definitely people on the left should appeal to that. So it's very weird that of all the people who need to get shot is Lindsey Graham. Oh wait, can I say that? I don't know if it gets to that point. The guy is horrible though. He is pro mass surveillance, violating the Fourth Amendment. Basically, everybody who works for the United States government, whether it's on the local, federal, state level, you take an oath. You say, "I swear to uphold the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help me God." All right.
Yeah.
Foreign and domestic. That means enemies outside your country and those inside, which would include your own government when they are purposely violating people's right to privacy. which has been upheld by the Supreme Court numerous times, but it never gets challenged right now because the NSA is hiding all of its spying records and using the blanket of national security to hide all that they're doing that. So nobody can ever get the evidence that they need to challenge the NSA in the Supreme Court to say that you are illegally
it's almost suspended right now, right? Then the Patriot Act that virtually suspends
Patriot
the
Act is gone.
Constitution.
The American Freedom Act is what they call it now. It's basically the same thing.
Well, they just
Yeah,
changed
they
the name.
just changed the name. The Patriot Act, even though it's the most unpatriotic thing, American Freedom Act, even though it's the most unfree thing, they're still spying on everybody. Of course they are.
That's the deal. It suspends the Constitution. So what use is the Constitution? What did old George Bush say?
You can't just suspend
the Constitution.
Under the way the Constitution, the way it's supposed to work anyway, under what the founders intended. But I don't need all this stuff is human creation anyway. It's basically fluff. Like international law doesn't exist either. I mean, if the most powerful country in the world doesn't care and tries to dictate what international law is to other countries, then international law means nothing. So the Constitution, same thing. It's supposed to be the bedrock of the entire society, the contract between the people and the state that holds the bridge between the people and the state. Their consent to be governed by the state is bound by the Constitution, but it is beyond the law. It is everything that is in the law, and it has to cohese with the Constitution, or else that law is unconstitutional and gets tossed by the Supreme Court, preferably. So
except after 9/11,
you can't negate the Constitution. Basically, what they're just doing is they're just finding ways to sidestep it, and then using fancy language. Although it's not really that fancy, they're just either omitting stuff or lying outright. So it's all corrupt. And this is the thing about, if you read back through history and stuff, and read the Bible, you read any religious text, you read just history in general, you'll read about some of the stuff in the Bible you might say, or any religious book will be like mysticism, and some say, if it's true or not. But there's definitely history out there that is true, that has been, cataloged throughout time, where there have been corrupt government officials in various civilizations. And a lot of times when government officials were corrupt in the past and they were caught, they were among the most brutally treated criminals in those societies. And the reason for that is because corruption at its core level is the worst crime in a society, because it is the father of all other crime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So
Isn't that what happens in China with some of the officials when they get caught?
Yeah, China. I mean, China had that thing with the baby formula. If I remember a few years ago, where a bunch of babies got killed because they were basically mixing in this garbage to make more money, like filler that was poisonous, ended up being into the baby formula. Like a couple hundred babies died, like 100 or 200. So they executed like two of the heads of the company.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I think that's. You kill infants. That's terrible. That's horrendous. That's why I don't really have a lot of empathy for Israelis anymore, because of what they're doing to the Palestinians. Because I can empathize. Any empathy they had from them getting attacked on October 7th, it doesn't make up. Even if they accidentally killed like a handful of children in Palestine, it's just like, it's terrible. But then when they bomb like thousands of them, it didn't stop. These are, I've seen the pictures. These are infants. These are toddlers. These are small children. I have a small child, a 3-year-old. They don't know what's going on. They're just there. They can't justify and say that these toddlers are Hamas supporters. These people. This is
and
evil.
they won't even stand any trials.
This is the thing.
Crimes against humanity. They won't even stand any trial, because the United States will make sure they never stand.
October 7th become a discussion for all of them, and then they'll be like, the October 7th, become a discussion for all of them, and this is where the media would always try to, rephrase back to the people, and then be like, what happened on the October 7th? They killed a lot of innocent people. Look, they're killing over 2 million people right now.
They're trying to.
Right, they are trying to kill 2 million people right now in
if they don't
Israel.
kill them, they want to.
I think they would preferably rather just push them all out, is what they would. But they will get rid of them one way or another. And if they don't get out, and part of the thing is with killing these kids is that
just Gaza.
It is
not the West Bank. That's just
terrorism.
Gaza you guys are talking about.
Yeah. The West Bank is stuff. There's stuff going on there too.
That's another thing.
There's stuff going on right now too. That's not talked about as much, but there is. Quite a few people have been killed over there too since this all began. Yeah.
Janine.
There's bombings and stuff too.
Oh yeah, not even. Well, who is that Palestinian girl with the beautiful hair? She looks really nice. She's a she was very young, and she was. I wish I knew her name, but anyway, she's out there, and
the whole Palestinian conflict. I would like to talk more about it, but it's like
Palestinian girl.
The whole thing is kind of from what I'm seeing, though. I'm seeing less of it myself. I'm not actively looking for it as much as I was either, but I'm not seeing it pop up through my news feeds as much.
They don't want you to see it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's on purpose. For if I'm looking, I'm not looking at Western media though. I'm following the Al Jazeera as the main news source. As mainstream is what I mean, but I'm looking at the Telegram channels that are like I'm sure you guys are all looking at like like Michael's channel and like Middle East Speculator, and there's some other channels and stuff out there. I used to follow that one guy in the UK, but his channel got taken down or whatever. He got threatened by the police there to take it down. But a lot of this stuff is is more leaning either towards the Palestinians or it's kind of like somewhat neutral. And I'm not seeing a lot of stuff though. And I'm like, the Israelis started bombing the Lebanese too. I guess they killed 2 Lebanese, actual Lebanese army soldiers, not Hezbollah soldiers. Yeah, no, just today.
Regular army, not Hezbollah.
Not Hezbollah. Not Hezbollah. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
And that's like a big escalation because they're not. Lebanon has its own official state army and it has Hezbollah. So now they've attacked the regular Lebanese army. So that's like, whoa.
That's a war.
It's getting to that point where it's like, well, holy shit. I mean, the thing is like the Iraqis, though, they haven't. America technically hasn't declared war on any of these groups, but they have been attacking American military bases. But as far as I know, they haven't directly killed any American troops yet. So it's like, but now that they've actually killed, the Israelis have killed some Lebanese troops. What are they going to do? I mean, the escalation is ongoing, and I'm not hearing about a lot going on from Hezbollah or the Lebanese lately. As far as Hezbollah has definitely attacked Israel again since the ceasefire ended, but it doesn't seem to be at the intensity that it was before the ceasefire happened, is what I'm saying. But back to...
I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you either, but they're still killing children. They're still trying to push them out of their homes, all the Palestinians. A lot of people, of course, getting pissed off. I heard Putin is still kind of really pissed off, and a lot of people say that's what part of his trip to the Middle East is about right now.
And supposedly nothing happened with that flotilla that we was talking about a few weeks ago too.
The 1,000 boats from Turkey, nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Nothing came of it. Apparently,
I never really had heard about it.
People were talking about it for like a week. Yeah, it was big. Well, I mean, in the alternative media, it was big news, but it just kind of dissipated. And about the corruption thing, corruption is the worst crime because it is the father of all other crimes because. Essentially, all society is based on trust, right?
Yeah.
All society. So the lower the amount of trust in your society, the less people are willing to invest in it, the less they can work with their own institutions and authorities in their society, and you have a less cohesive society, and less cohesion creates all other sorts of crimes.
And this corruption has been built everywhere, actually, because it starts from.
Oh yeah, there's always corruption. Yeah, on some level.
Yeah,
on some level, there's
time.
Yeah.
And
you have to keep it under control, though.
Yeah, exactly. And anytime there's a corruption in a country, there's a chaos. When there's chaos, there is massacre, and there's problems.
This just came in. U.S. agrees to $175 million aid package to Ukraine.
How much?
175
billion.
Wow. No, million.
Oh, that's just the small amounts that normally.
It's just 175 million.
It used to be 350. I put that out on my YouTube channel. I was mentioning that when I mentioned this thing about
it's pocket change,
backdoor agreements, kind of. It used to be every 2 weeks or every 10 days to 2 weeks. It was 350 million.
Yeah.
And then it was going down to 2 million and. 200 million.
Also, Biden's raised the specter of American troops having to fight Russians in Europe if Congress stands by and allows Ukraine to fall. Reported by the Daily Mail.
Wow. I think they're going to...
What the hell is he going to do at this point? They're not going to send him over here.
Yeah.
The Americans don't want to be... some will, but...
Well, then Russia will go to war. Russia's in a special military operation right now, but just think what's going to happen then.
Yeah, well, then you're talking potential World War III, if that happens.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
And then China... And then Iran and a lot of the other people, they don't really have, looking at Israel over there, they don't have a lot of reason to hold back then. If Russia's full on with the United States and China
And
very well
North
could be.
Korea will,
North Korea
will start.
Yeah.
Well, Russia's got the missiles. I'll tell you what; those ships that are sitting off the coast of Gaza, the U.S. ships, they're going to be gone in about 10 minutes, I think, if the war breaks out.
Well, that's why they're a couple hundred miles away, and they're not actually very close.
Yeah,
that doesn't matter though.
This whole thing, it would just be everybody's saying like, "Oh, well, I might as well just take my shot right now," while they're tied up with everything. You know,
take my shot. You said.
Yeah, you know, shoot your shot, like North Korea, like China going after Taiwan, like Venezuela going to Guyana, whatever, Serbia into Kosovo. Everybody would be looking at like, they're not paying too much attention over here right now. I might as well just.
Well, that's what Israel likes to do. When everybody's attention is diverted somewhere else, then they make their
they
their
get
moves.
something again. Yeah,
they normally have been doing that in the past. I was, but it's weird that they waited till this long, and maybe that's the thing. That's the diversion against Ukraine. Of course, they started something up there, and then all of a sudden, maybe they were just sitting around waiting and saying, "Oh, we'll help out old Zelensky."
Yeah,
not start this attack yet, or no, they were waiting for the concert, the music concert. That was Hamas anyway.
I can't believe they would be that stupid to send U.S. troops into direct conflict in Russia. I mean, technically, there's some already there. I'm sure.
That's what
there definitely is. Time.
Yeah,
but
because how can you just send U.S. troop out away from United States down to?
Well, that's the thing. They've got to get across the ocean. They've got to get across the
logistics.
We got
logistics.
40,000.
That's what normally
in
ends
Western
the
Europe
wars.
right now.
These are like this. These are life of innocent people to you're sending to war.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care. They keep saying they're psychopaths. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, they don't care about their own people, and they don't. I mean, if they're willing to have the women in America abort their own children just so that because it's easier to do that and just bring in people from other countries for immigration.
You're right on that.
They don't give a shit about their own people because they're encouraging their own women to kill their own children and just replace them with immigrants. And
you're right.
Why would they care about sending their own people off to go die for some geopolitical power games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course I'm right.
Yeah, that's too much.
Okay, guys, we're going to wrap this up shortly.
It's evil.
If you want to say your last words. Last words.
Nothing from me. Last words.
Last words.
Where we go. Nothing from me.
Anything to wrap up?
No, I think I have. Especially, I know I took kind of a break there in the beginning. I was letting these guys go at it. But
We're just warming up.
I wanted
to. It's getting into my chi, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think I closed it out pretty well. Though went on a few long monologues.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Duke. Uber.
Thanks,
Steve. See you guys all on Sunday.
Yes.
We'll be back same time, same place, same channel.